Welcome. You're now part of another episode of the Respawn Podcast, your weekly update on all things God, gaming, and more nonsense than you're ready for. Rosa and Pastor Steven, bringing faith in video games right to your ears. Let's get this started.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Respawn Podcast. We are your hosts. I saw that.
I was going to say, what's up?
But then you coughed.
I know.
I saw you mute your mic, and I was like, okay, I got to take over.
Yeah.
We are your hosts, Rosa and Pastor Steven. I was going to say Steven, but that was going to sound weird. How you doing, Rosa?
Why is that weird that you're a pastor?
So here's the issue. Here's the issue. Like, you know how I spell my name Pastor Steven with two N's online? I've gotten so used to it that I sign my church things with two N's now by accident. All my church emails, like I write my name with two N's now. Like I'm used to it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Became a thing. Yeah. You know, fun fact.
What?
I went to get lunch with my mom today.
Yeah.
And her birthday was recently, and I didn't have time to get her anything, so I was like, I'm gonna pay for lunch this time.
Yeah.
And
nice of
she
you.
was like, okay, that's fine, whatever. I go in, I order. And they were like, can we have a name for the order? Immediately, Rosa. That's not my real name.
That's not your government name?
That's not my government name. And I said, Rosa. And then me and my mom were like standing in line, and I like felt so weird after that. I was like, oh. So I go back, I stand in line, because I'm actually really socially awkward. I know you might not think so, but I am.
I feel like
awkward.
every good streamer is.
Yeah.
Every good streamer has to
If
be.
you see me in public, I will literally avoid you like the black plague.
Do you cross the street to avoid people?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was one time I hid in the grocery store, like literally hid.
100%.
No, it's bad. It's really embarrassing. Let me tell you. There's in the grocery store that we have, since there's like nothing here, there's like these little, I don't know, clothing things that have like the clothing racks. I was literally 6 years old, hid inside of it.
You went inside?
I went inside of it.
I never did that.
I'm almost 28 years old doing stuff like that. What's wrong with me? Anyway, back to the story. ADHD brain. We're standing in line.
There's a joke in there, but I won't say it.
It's fine. It's fine. Oh, what the heck did I just do?
I was just thinking the fact that you are 28 years old but still able to fit in those is the play.
That's funny. You think you're funny saying that?
Is
right?
the play.
But we're standing in line, and the lady, like, she gets our food, and she's like, order for Rosa.
Yeah.
And my mom looked at me, because she knows that's, like, my stream name. And I was like, what? And she was like, really? Like, yeah, really? Like, all, like, yeah.
That's what I look like when I sign two N's, and Katrina's like, what are you doing? That's what I'm doing. I'm signing two N's.
That's it, right there.
Pastor Steven. On TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube.
You gotta, like, elongate the N. Pastor Steven.
So I have a separate podcast, Rosa, right? And there's an editor that made an intro for that podcast, or on the outro. And on the outro, this man literally, if you listen to the end of the podcast, this man literally says, to follow up with blah blah blah, visit PastorStevenn.com.
Oh, like, why do you do you like that?
PastorStevenn.com. Yeah.
That reminds me of that. What is it from? I don't know. It was like a funny video on TikTok. It was like Aaron.
Oh, that's a Comedy Central clip.
Yeah, from YouTube.
And he's from the hood, and he goes to this like suburban area
like
as a sub.
Sure.
And he's reading all the names as if he would have read them in the.
Yeah, you were in that class.
Aaron. Yeah, the kid's like, my name's Aaron.
That's gonna be you.
Or like one was like Destina. You mean
Watch,
Destiny?
when you like blow up really big and you go to like TwitchCon or something, your editor's actually gonna come and they're gonna be
Crimson.
like, he's gonna reach out his hand and be like, Steven, and you're gonna be like, it's Steven.
I cannot wait. Can I just tell you that like I've been editing YouTube videos now, and I have so much respect for editors. My goal right now is to just get enough money to hire an editor. They are the MVPs. What those people can do. I would
love to get enough money just to pay somebody to watch my streams and be like, hey, make this something.
That's another thing, yeah.
Do something with this.
And
then boom, TikToks. Look at that.
I watched Ludwig's video on like how to stream. and he talks about that, and it was game changer. I changed how I stream in the last week. It's a game changer. Game changer. Yeah.
You're bougie.
I'm bougie? Why?
Yeah, I don't know. You're just being bougie right now.
You like my fancy headphones?
My own podcast.
My own.
I got glasses on with
my refrigerator.
My refrigerator that has a light around the outside of it.
As I'm wearing my non-prescription glasses.
I got a $400 headset
that I didn't buy. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Somebody gave to me because I'm bougie. I can keep going.
Go ahead.
He said, "Go ahead."
Is your week been going okay, by the way? Tell me
okay.
One exciting new whatever. Pick one thing about your week and tell me about it.
I went hiking.
And I saw that.
It was really the first major physical activity that I've done.
Hate hiking.
I loved it. I loved every second of it, actually. But I hadn't done anything like that. That was the most I've moved in probably, I don't know how many years. I even told her, I was like, listen, because she's from high school. She's my best friend from high school. So she knows me as basketball playing, soccer playing, volleyball. I was really athletic and stuff. So she was just like, it's 6 miles. We can do it. And she works out and stuff every day. And I was like, hold up, Sam, baby. I had a baby.
I want to know this. What was her reaction to finding out that you stream? That's an income source.
Very supportive. She comes to my stream sometimes.
Oh, okay, cool.
Very supportive. She
find
talks to me about it.
People are shocked by it usually.
She was. But she even this last time when we were hanging out, she was just like, I don't know anybody else that does anything like that. So she's like, forgive me if my questions are weird or something.
Cool.
I'm like, girl,
no, that's cool.
I love that you're even asking questions. Yeah,
that's so cool.
Yeah, she's a really good friend.
That's awesome.
Wholesome. She always was, so cool. Even in high school. It's nice.
That's really
nice. But she's a teacher, so all school year, I couldn't really hang out with her. Now it's summertime, so I'm like,
girl, I played Fortnite last night with Crimson, who's an admin in my server and editor of this podcast, and he's off of school. So we played Fortnite last night for a little bit.
Yeah, isn't that lovely? Yeah. Having teacher friends, and then you get them for the summertime, and you feel like a kid. And you're like,
yes,
summer.
We can hang out. Tell your mom that you can come over. So check this out. I gotta tell you about this because this is ridiculous. On a couple days ago, last week, I did a stream where I let my entire community pick what our first, I've never had merch before. I let my community pick what our merch was. We played marbles on stream, and then the winner of that marble game got to write in chat whatever the heck they wanted.
So you mean decal or
no, the design.
Items.
We were designing it. We were designing the merch item.
Oh,
and then chat would vote yes or no. We're gonna do that. So I'm thinking my face is gonna be being eaten by something. I just imagine where they were going, and they were planning on doing this top hat thing with my head popping out of it. But those people didn't win. We ended up with the dumbest, silliest looking. There's an avocado dabbing to a cross with a silly verse on it's verse on top of him with words coming out of his avocado pit.
Oh my, not the avocado
Here's what I would say.
Why did you describe it like that?
That's how they described it.
Avocado pit?
No, the way they describe it, they were in the pit, in the pit, in the pit. I was like, what are you guys talking about? I thought they meant his armpit, and they were like, no, his pit. People have been buying this shirt, Rosa.
Of course they have.
What the heck is wrong with these people?
It's funny.
There are going to be people all over the world.
I kind of want to buy the shirt.
Wearing an avocado dabbing to a cross t-shirt.
Can you please name it Avocado Pit?
It's called the Avo T. It's the Avo T. And then the sweater is the Avo No.
That name's kind of hot.
Yeah, thank you for the name. That was me. That was me.
I like that.
But
it's a very classy name, and you're like, dang, the Avo T. That sounds hot. Right? And then it's just
I made it limited edition though, so it's only going to be available for the month of June. After that, it goes bye-bye.
I've been thinking about doing something like that.
Yeah, like having your community do something.
No, like having limited edition certain kind
That's
of
what I
merch.
want to
Because
do.
I did merch one time,
Yeah.
and the like vendor that we went through.
Yeah.
So basically, this is how it was working. Like
You went through a
somebody,
different one, yeah.
somebody would buy it, and it would take the money from my account to cover
toss
it.
that tea, yeah.
Yeah, and then like 3 to 5 business days later, like the profit, which I was only making like an extra $20 per like hoodie or whatever. Or I think the hoodies were I was only making $3 from because they were already expensive. I don't want to be charging my people $45 for a hoodie.
I went through Streamlabs, and it was really it's what Sweet Tails uses.
But Streamlabs doesn't have like a whole lot of options, and I'm picky.
Yeah, I mean their options of like a tire is yeah.
Yeah. So like I did it differently that way because it was like better quality. It seemed like to me. Bet. But anyway, so a couple people bought like a few things, and I'm poor.
So $300 leaves your bank account.
Yes, and I'm like, oh, and then like it was like 3 to 5 business days, like the money will come back.
Yeah.
Well, in that 3 to 5 business days, the whole world's coming down over here, baby.
Beans and rice and beans.
Yes, the flat tires. Well, we walking like whatever.
Peanut butter and jellies.
Yeah. So I think I'm gonna have to do something different with that. But I mean, the merch from then was really nice. It's really nice.
Dang.
I got one of the beanies myself. Somebody from the community like bought me one and sent it to me, and it was cool.
I like it. And
then a couple people like once they got merch, I made like a channel in my Discord like where they could show it off, and there was a few people that like posted like them with the shirt on or the hoodie on or something like that, and I'm like, dang, I want my own hoodie. Is that like weird?
Yeah,
I feel like.
Well, I did buy one of the tees because the deal from the stream was which made a great YouTube video. I love it. But the deal for the stream was I'm gonna wear it at church. Whatever you decide, whatever you put on that T-shirt, I'm rocking it to church. I'll take a picture of it. So in a week or two, I'm gonna be standing up and I'm preaching in 2 weeks, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get that shirt the week that I'm preaching. So that'll be funny. But speaking of preaching,
is it gonna be the Avo tee?
It's gonna be the Avo tee in dark gray.
Let's go.
Speaking of preaching, let's get into our God topic for the week.
Okay.
Talk about God, and let's talk about faith. Okay, let's hear it.
I love when the guy says, okay, let's hear it.
Yeah.
I just wish everybody said that when I was like, let's talk about God. Okay, let's hear it. So for today's episode of the podcast, thought about doing something a little bit different. Rather than discuss a topic, we feel like you guys come to our streams, you guys listen to the podcast. We want to share with you guys our favorite Bible verses so that you guys can get to know us a little bit better. And in that same notion, hear about why this is an important verse in our life or to us in general. I'm going to start it off by not starting it off. Rosa, what is your favorite Bible verse?
Okay, so I feel like usually people are like, this is the verse that really speaks to me or whatever, and there's some kind of like deep meaning behind it. Mine's more like sentimental. Okay. It's basically I've adopted it as my favorite verse because it was my grandfather's.
Okay.
Who was a very important person in my life. Like, I'm an oversharer. Let's overshare.
Huge.
I didn't really have a dad.
Yeah.
And as I got older and there was like some trouble with my childhood and parenting and stuff, I got removed from my family and I was placed with my grandparents. Yeah. And my grandpa was like my dad. And he got cancer and he passed away. And on his tombstone, it was his favorite verse. Like he always said that he thinks he was like to this day, and he was like dying. Like he doesn't think that he would have truly been saved if he wouldn't have gotten cancer.
Wow.
And he always used to tell me like sometimes God will lay you on your back so you'll look up. So
dang,
his
wisdom.
Yeah. His tombstone has his favorite verse on the back. I'll share it with you right now. I don't want to like Hmm.
That's crazy.
Okay. So it's actually Timothy 4:7. I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course. I have kept the faith. Henceforth, there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, shall give me at that day, and not only to me only, but unto them all who
Wow.
also love his appearing. So, and I kind of adopted it just because, like, oh, that's my grandpa, that's his favorite verse type thing.
Yeah.
But then after a while, like, separating in a very long abusive marriage, I've like applied it to like a lot of things in my life. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of times that I could be nasty. I could be nasty.
Oh, I know. I'm on the receiving end. Just kidding.
No,
I'm just
I mean
kidding.
like with situations.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, you're right.
What you were saying about
like,
your grandpa is crazy.
And I'll just like apply that verse in my head. Like,
yeah.
When I die, or if I'm on my deathbed and I'm sick, can I say that I've fought the good fight?
Yeah.
Fought the good fight. Oh my gosh, words. Can I say that I've fought the good fight? Can I say that I've kept my faith? Because keeping your faith is more than just being like, oh, I believe in God. Like,
yeah.
Keeping your faith is also sometimes in your tongue and keeping your attitude in check.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of times that I could be like a little hood and the Holy Spirit's like tapping on my shoulder, like, think you should be doing it?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
At the end of my life, I want to be like, I tried. I know I mess up. I know I'm not perfect. It's bad.
That just shows, though, the importance of, like, as a Christian, your whole story shows the importance of, like, how important it is to be impactful in people's lives. Because like, the fact that that Bible verse is even important to you is because it was important in somebody else's life. You get, like, that's so incredible. That's huge. Like, how important it is to just show up in somebody's life, because you have no idea what's going to happen, down the road.
Yeah. So
it's crazy.
I see it every time I go visit. He was like a farmer. Like, he had a lot of land. He had like 70 some acres and like cattle and horses and stuff.
Dang.
When he started getting sick, the farm started getting smaller because like they would sell stuff to try to like pay for his cancer treatments. One of the last things he had was his cattle. And that used to be our thing. I would like get in the tractor with him. Because like it's weird up here. Like, yeah, I grew up on a farm and it's like very country and stuff, but there's some ghetto stuff that there's people shooting his cows because they didn't like him.
Oh my god.
Or like they were like jealous or something like that. We would have to go count the cattle. Like, he'd be like, I'm gonna go count them, make sure they're all there. I'm like, okay, I'm coming. And I would like ride in the tractor with him.
Yeah.
And we'd go like 1, 2, 3, like count all of them. And making sure they're all there and not just like a dead cow laying in the field with like buckshot. Like, what in the world? That's Bertha. He killed Bertha. But yeah, it was weird. Dang. Like gang wars over cattle.
Yeah. Weird.
But anyway,
cool.
His tombstone, actually, my grandma had a like an artist. There's like a picture of him going through the field on his tractor.
Oh, that's
all kinds of cows around him. And we had this dog. It was a German Shepherd. He was like 7 foot tall when he stood on his hind legs. It was the biggest German Shepherd. Like a lot of the veterinarians and stuff that seen him. He was terrified of cows. So he would get in like the inloader bucket of the tractor. My grandpa would raise him up in the air, and there would just be a dog chilling in the inloader bucket going through the fields. That's actually painted on his tombstone.
Oh, that's
like,
super cool.
Him in the fields with like the dog in the bucket, and then the Bible verse is right below it.
That's cool. That is so cool.
Yeah, that was really
super cool. I like
really
that.
Cool.
I like that you shared that. That's really cool. Mine is not as cool of a story. I don't have a story for mine at all. I don't have a story of mine at all. I was just reading the Bible one day. Like, I had just gotten saved as a Christian, like 21 years old. Oh, I actually think I heard a sermon and this verse was shared. And I'll just read it and I'll say why I like it. It's 1 Peter 1:7. It says that the genuineness of your faith being much more precious than gold that perishes, though it be tried by fire, may be found to praise, honor, and glory at the revelation of Jesus Christ. That's a mouthful. I know. Peter's writing to this church that's basically being burned to death. Like Nero is, and like they're being persecuted like crazy, like so much that they're being burned. And then the history goes back and shows us that like Christians were being burned on a stake, like they were being burned on stakes outside of the city gates, so that as new people came into the city, the example they saw was, I don't be a Christian, because that's what happens. So you would walk in and you'd see them burned, or during the fact, whatever, because that was the example. So this church is living in that environment, and Peter tells them this, keep your faith genuine, because it's more precious than gold, though it be tried by the fire. Like gold literally goes into fire to be refined, and these guys are literally being burned alive. And he's telling them like it's gonna be worth it, in the end, basically. And
wow.
I obviously have never been through any of that, but it's a good reminder that like I need to be genuine, like I need to be whoever I am, Pastor Steven in Twitch streams. I need to be that Pastor Steven when the webcam's off and nobody's here, and be genuine into my faith. And anyway,
can we go off topic a little bit?
Yeah, maybe. If not, Crimson will cut this part of the podcast off. So
it's kind of like part of what you said, like in the verse. Well, not in the verse, but the story behind it. Yeah. Like people being, that's the example you saw, was like, oh my gosh, that guy's a Christian. I don't want to do that. Is it weird? I feel like sometimes like the human in me feels like we should do stuff like that again for like really bad things. Like let's say a pedophile or like child molesters, whatever. Things like that. Like if that was the example of like that's how it was dealt with.
Everybody's flesh thinks that. Everybody.
Yeah, but then you've got to like sit back and like really like that's so hard. Yeah. As a Christian sometimes. Yeah. And also that same point, isn't that crazy that people believed so hard and like so much that like they knew that was going to be their fate? And they still did it anyway, but yet we have people that like, let's say that stream. I've seen it. Yeah. That like in their Discord or like on their Instagram or like more personal things, which I'm not hating on how anybody runs their streams. It's you, but it's just something that affected me. In the stream, you would bring up God or like something about their faith, and they were a little like.
Yeah. There's a big.
They're afraid of losing people or something.
There's a really big streamer. I was playing with somebody recently and they were talking about this person. I was a little bit uncomfortable because I was like, I don't like naming people and calling them out. So I was just like, be quiet. Yeah. So, but there's a really big streamer. He's really big. I would say majority of the Warzone community knows this person. I mean, if you've been on TikTok, you know this person. He's huge, thousands of viewers. He's a Christian. And he had a conversation with another Christian content creator that I know, and they were talking. He was like, I feel bad because I'm not sharing anything about Christ in my stuff. And I say that to say it's funny because it's true. Like we have sometimes the greatest opportunity to share Jesus. Yeah. But we think we might risk it. We might lose things, and we don't. And then meanwhile, other Christians were willing to just burn at the stake, for the sake of Christ.
That's crazy.
So yeah, there was a trend on TikTok where people were like pretending like a shooter came in, and like the shooter, it said like, if you're a Christian, blah, 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 stand up, and they would stand up. And I was like, okay, that's cool. But if all of us were serious about this, right? If you were really gonna do that, if you were really gonna be the person that stood up and been the martyr, you'd probably share about Jesus in all your other environments, because you wouldn't care if you lost your job. Yeah. You wouldn't care if your friend group left you. You wouldn't care. If you don't care that you're going to die, trust me, you're not going to care that your friends leave you because you're a Christian. But we don't do that, like we hide our faith. We don't want to talk about Jesus in our jobs, or to our coworkers because, we might get whatever. Like, I don't know.
I mean, I feel like that's like, there's a difference in like being sure of who you are and what you believe, and like letting people know that, not being afraid. Yeah. And then there's the ones that like,
I know
you can't, even as a sinner, or even if you weren't a believer, you click on their profile and it's just like, do you believe in Jesus?
Yeah.
You better. To be here, you have to believe in Jesus.
I call it the non-effective approach because they think they're so gung-ho about it, like, we need to talk about Jesus, but they're so gung-ho about it that then they get removed from a situation, like they get removed from a job, whatever, like immediately, and then now that person, that witness is gone. And it's like, no, I work, like people always say like, oh, Pastor Steven, but you have it easy because you're a pastor at a church. That's your job. It's like, yeah, but I wasn't always. I worked at a bank, at Bank of America. And like my coworkers knew I was a Christian. There was a time where I was in the vault, like we were in the vault where you walk in money. And my coworker was crying because she really had some life stuff happening. And I wasn't ashamed about who I was. And she knew, like she kind of let her guard down. She was crying. And I prayed with and for my coworker in a vault, in a Bank of America, like middle of day, like we're getting ready to leave. Like I would put Bible verses up on my screen. I think one time my manager came over and she took my Bible verses off.
Dude.
She was like, oh, we can't have these here. I was like, okay. But, but I put them up. Like,
my last job, I was a student loan debt collector.
Yeah.
It was like office job.
Yeah.
And it was like a big deal. So, like, it was very, like, businessy. Like, you couldn't even be business casual. Like, you had to dress like you were basically going to see the White House, like the president at the White House. And they were all prim and proper and this and that. I left my Bible. I used to read my Bible sometimes at lunch. Like, I'd go on lunch and I'd eat and I'd, like, be reading, whatever. I left my Bible on my desk to go use the bathroom.
Yeah.
And I came back and there was a note on my desk that was, like, C supervisor. I was like, what the heck? I didn't even realize it was gone, nothing. I was just like, oh my God, what did I do?
Yeah.
Like, what did I do? I go see them and he has my Bible, like, hostage on the desk. And was like, this was on your desk. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, somebody that sits near you is like offended or something like that, et cetera, et cetera. Like, we can't be having stuff like this in the workplace. And I was like, I'm not allowed to be a person who has my own beliefs and my own things that I want to do on my own time. Do you guys pay me for lunch? No. Okay, that's what I use on lunch. It's just, it's in my personal space. Are you going to give me a locker so I can put my things in the locker? Like, what the heck, buddy?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, like, and how am I supposed to expect people? That's one thing I like about my streams. It's all inclusive. Yep. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your
have to believe to belong.
Yeah, I mean, one of my best friends that's turned out to be one of my best friends, like, ever, that I've ever had.
Yeah.
That I've never met. Wiki.
Yeah, Wiki.
Lives in
I figured you were talking about Wiki, yeah.
He's agnostic.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't know what he really believes, and we've talked about it. We've had conversations, and it's literally been like, there was one time I was just like, I'm, like, disgusted. And he was like, why? Did I say something wrong? And I'm like, no, that, like, I feel like I've never had the ability to, like, actually, it was like we were debating, but it was like a healthy debate.
Yeah.
Because I would say something, and he would be like, I see what you're saying, but, like, I'm going to have to agree.
I love talking to him.
I'm going to have to disagree, and this is why.
And I'm like, oh,
that makes sense.
He's such a cool guy for that. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. And, like, I look at the clock, and it's, like, been 3 hours, and we've been doing that. And there's been no name calling, no, like, well, I think that's just kind of stupid, or et cetera, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it was just cool like that.
That's how it should be.
And that's one thing I like about my stream. There's people coming to my stream that, like, believe in rocks. Like, okay.
I believe in rocks, too.
You baby.
I think they're very real. If you throw them at people,
you know what I mean.
They will hurt.
And, like, astrology and all that stuff. And, like, I will talk to them about it.
Yeah, same. I got people like I have a mod.
I want to know why, because I'm going to test your faith.
My biggest question people ask me is, are your mods, like, do you make sure your mods are Christian? I go, no, because one of them's definitely not a Christian. Like, come on. Like, come on. Anyway, yeah, people are silly.
I don't know. I think that's cool though. That's what makes things, like, really genuine to me.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, and people always use the example, and I know it's kind of cliche, but God always said, like, he didn't come to save the righteous.
Yeah.
Like, he came for the sinners.
Yep.
He ate with the sinners. He spent time with them. Of course,
Yeah.
you know, that's how are you going to do that if you're like, you know how people put their streams on like follow only? You can't even chat until they're follower.
How are you going to grow past one viewer? Exactly, right?
Well, not only that, but like, what if that message that says like you have to be a follower of this channel to chat? What if that message said you have to be a Christian to be here?
Yeah.
What's the point?
Yeah. 100%.
What's the point? Like who are you reaching? Who are you gonna? And I mean, I'm not saying all this like I get on stream and I'm like you and I get on here and like preach and Bible verses and things like that. Like I really don't. Like I do share God. I'm not ashamed of God. I'm not ashamed of my faith. I will speak up at any time, especially if people come in and like want to have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
Totally cool. Not going to turn my eye, but I'm also not, like overbearing about it. Yeah. And that's one thing I think that does attract people.
Totally. I agree.
But
yeah.
I don't know. I
was
eating lunch with my
off
mom
topic.
today. I know.
We've covered like 5 different things in this span of one segment. I went to eat
with my mom today, and she was like, she asked about you actually, and I was like, telling her about you, telling her about Kat, and things like that, and she was like, so like, how does it work? Like she was like so confused. She doesn't understand like how streaming works or even the podcast.
Yeah.
Like even today, she thinks that like all of my income.
Yeah.
Like how I'm a full-time streamer or whatever. She thinks that I make money from the podcast. Like all the money that I make is from the podcast. And I'm like, girl, I've told her like so many times too. Like the podcast is separate from the streams. Like she just doesn't get it.
There's a link in the bio. There's a link in the bio for Patreon.
Huh?
I was saying there's a link in the bio for Patreon if you guys do want to support.
Perfect time. I worked on that very hard. Like that's there now, by the way.
Good.
Did that on purpose. Did you like that? That was a good sales tactic.
That was a good segue.
Yeah. But yeah, she was asking about you and she was like, does he like get on there and like preach? Is it like church? Or like what is it? And I'm like, he's just like easy going. Like you're watching him mow down people on Fortnite, or like sometimes he does have like Bible study streams and things like that. And she was like, huh. I could see the wheels turning in her head. She was like, that's kind of cool. And I was like,
that's cool.
Not my 50-year-old mom like saying something cool about Twitch. Because any other time I've talked to her about it, she's like, that's weird. That's not a job.
I expect Mama Rosa in my Twitch stream by next week.
Oh my gosh. It's like anytime I've talked to her about it, like my streaming stuff, she kind of just like rolls her eye. Like she doesn't even think that it's like real work.
Girl, that's how it is.
Anything like that. So
yep.
For her to say something was cool about Twitch, I almost fell out my chair. Like, somebody give me a book. I gotta write down today's date, time. What are you wearing?
That's funny. Speaking of Twitch, let's get into some gaming.
Video games.
My favorite.
Games! I love games. I'm great at games.
So here's what's happening this week. Fortnite just had a live event, and I need to tell you.
Fortnite's so hot.
Okay, no. So I came strictly from Warzone with live events. I've never seen any other live event. I've never cared to go to any other company's live events, Rosa. Fortnite's live events, they know what the heck they are doing. I didn't even play it, and my heart was beating. It was so...
I want to watch it.
So it was so good. It was... You know how, like... I compared it to the last Warzone live event that I did. Do you remember the Vanguard live event where, like, you flew down, there was a train, and you just shot at the train nonstop, but you weren't really doing anything? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
You were just kind of aimless shooting. Like, it didn't matter. And then the train blew up, and then there was a movie that played. Remember, then you had to run?
Yeah.
Okay. That was what I compared.
It was so lame.
There was no, like, story to it. It was just, there's a train in Warzone now, right?
Yeah.
What impressed me so much with the Fortnite update is that there was all of that, except there was also the story explaining why all of it was happening as you're playing. So you were in a spaceship, like whatever character you were in a spaceship, and you got told that like the people on Earth, they had the tanks and all that, the 7, whatever they're called. I'm forgetting what they're called. We're taking over, and they were going to ignite the bomb. And so you your thing turned into like this big spaceship, and you were like this big it was a character. It was like I'm forgetting what it was. It was like the little bear. Turned into that, flew down, and then you're controlling it now. So you're controlling that part of the movie. You're fighting. Cool. You're blowing up asteroids. You get to Earth. Earth. Well, I'm talking like, see, Hood, yeah, you heard that? Hood Stevens come out. Earth, wind, and fire. Okay. You get down to Earth and you're shooting the tanks, like you're controlling the things. Then you get hurt and you're about to go down. So then it cuts to like it's still playable, but it's like a movie in the play. Like it's not that it cuts you to a movie. It's just that like I don't know how to explain it, but like in the game, the things are happening and that's the movie, but it doesn't ever take you away from the game to a movie scene. It's just all happening in front of you. So
it's
then
like you are in the cutscene controlling the cutscene.
Thank you. Yeah. Yes. And then Peely, the banana costume, comes over because you're about to die. He comes over in a chug truck, and you take it that you're like, I can only equate it to Power Rangers because it's what it felt like. It felt like you were in the Power Rangers big thing. Grabs it, drinks it, then you get a sword just like Power Rangers. You're blowing up all the blimps. Then you think like, okay, this moment's gonna happen, this climactic moment. We're about to destroy the thing, and the sword's about to hit it, and then the ground breaks underneath you, and you fall down. You have to get out of your spaceship. Now you're just in your gun, fighting these characters, working your way up to the ship again. It was just so good, and in every aspect, they were revealing what was gonna happen in the game. Like Darth Vader came out because there's a Darth Vader skin in this season. Like it was just so good. And then the end scene was really good. Like these two important characters leave to go find somebody. I haven't played Fortnite through all the years, so I don't know who they went to go find. But apparently somebody's been missing, and they went. It was just so good.
Yeah.
I did not know that was possible. I was waiting for a small play and then like a movie. I didn't know that was possible.
Have you ever went into Warzone and like looked at the operators and like how like if you click on them, there's like a little backstory about them?
Yep.
I think it would be so cool if like when you unlocked a character and you chose them, it would like take you into a cutscene or something, and like you would actually play the scenario it's talking about. Like even for like it doesn't even have to be long. Like even like a 10-minute little episode, like cool. Through the backstory with them, so you know like what they're about, where they came from, like what's important to them, things like that. And then boom, you have that character. Like that would be so cool.
That would be cool. That would be
because like just
really
reading it on paper, it's just like, okay, he was a ex specialist.
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah.
I'm just thoroughly impressed. Like after playing all the Warzone live events.
Yeah, I'm not lying. I'm like the only thing that's keeping me on Warzone is just the fact that like I'm pretty good at it.
Yeah. So Crimson, we're talking about Crimson, the editor of this podcast. He plays Warzone like I mean the guy has like a crazy KD, and he was on the esports team. He told me last night he uninstalled it. It's gone.
I'm not even kidding.
Crazy.
I had like the same conversation this week. Like
crazy.
I'm thinking about just getting rid of it completely and just playing Fortnite.
After seeing the Fortnite thing, I think Warzone has so, like, with the storyline of what Warzone could do, those live events could be epic.
Oh, yeah.
And now the bar just got raised. I can't settle for Warzone's live events anymore. They have to raise the bar.
Dude, the last one, I got in there and I was just immediately scared.
The King Kong?
Like, yeah, that was scary for like 5 seconds. Just that I didn't know what was happening. There was no story.
There's no story.
Like, why is King Kong here?
Like the train.
Why
like the train one. There was no story. You flew in and there's a train in for dance. There was no story. Exactly.
I mean, I'm sure that there, like some of the cutscenes and stuff, it probably like has a little bit, but like it's not enough to where like it leaves like an impact. Like, oh my gosh, like this has to happen because I'm a soldier and well, you know, like there needs to be something that's like actually impactful for it to feel genuine to me.
And don't get me wrong,
but like I got in Warzone, I was just like, okay, King Kong is here. He's huge. He's throwing something. Oh my gosh, I'm scared.
Yeah.
there's a man over there. I'm gonna try to kill him. Oh, Godzilla's little fire-breathing whatever is like aimed right at me. Let me move out of its way to try to kill the man, and then what?
Yeah.
You're just running around the map, and there's these two gigantic things in the sky.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doing things.
Don't get me wrong. Fortnite updated their map, and they added things that weren't necessarily part of that story. So, every game does that. Like, they added the roller coaster and all that.
Keep it interesting.
But I'm just still, the bar's been raised. I can't, Warzone needs to step their game up.
I played it last night. I had so much fun.
Yeah,
I actually forgot that I was streaming. I don't know when the last time that's happened.
Oh, that's good. I played it last night a little bit too.
I was so into the game that I forgot. I saw the corner of my eye chat moved up a couple things.
Yeah.
Like somebody said something, and I was like, oh.
I'm live. I'm streaming.
Yeah. I don't know when the last time that's happened.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't know why Warzone doesn't do events like that. I hope that they do with Warzone 2. I'm excited that it's going to be a whole new game. Maybe, maybe there won't be bugs and they can do those things. I don't know. But I'm excited to see what they're going to do. I hope they do some stuff like that. I think for me at least the bar's been raised.
Warzone's in its own little compartment of competitiveness. That's where
for you?
Yeah, for me.
Yeah.
It's different. I go on Fortnite, you can still be competitive, but I have fun.
Yeah.
It's and there's more room for fun because the map's so big. You know, there's a couple
I think
you might just be running through a field with pretty freaking butterflies and
I think
little...
ever since Nick Merckx and those guys stopped playing Warzone, ever since he uninstalled it, and then Tim the Tatman and his crew, those crazy funny guys, stopped playing Warzone, I feel like they've just been struggling ever since to keep a solid fan base.
I feel like a lot of people have been.
Yeah, because those guys have played everything else but that.
I've been getting so desperate that there's a desire in me to literally try to get good at Apex.
That's a good one.
Apex is a good game.
That's a good competitive game. Yeah, me too.
I get so mad. If I hit all my shots and I empty an entire mag into one man and he can just go behind a little rock and shield up really quick, it makes me mad. I can't I have to do that again.
Yeah.
I have to do that again. It makes the fights really, really long.
They just released Apex Mobile.
I saw that.
But they didn't skimp. It's really well done. Really well done mobile mode. And then speaking about mobile, so this isn't announced, but companies can take out patents in the USA to get certain things done on devices that they're creating. Mm-hmm. Sony took out a ton of patents this week on their new PSP, PlayStation Portable. And let me tell you what some of the patents tell us. They took out a patent to have 5G built into a mobile gaming device.
Dang.
So
what?
Imagine if you paid a fee to your cell phone provider, like you would on your iPad. Imagine if you paid a fee so that your PSP had internet everywhere you went.
Oh my goodness, there's going to be... You know what my brain just went to? Hold that thought.
Yeah.
Imagine how many children. Noah.
Yeah. Oh,
no.
Mom, can we get... So the patent...
You're trying to eat at a restaurant and your kid's just over there.
So that's the thing, is now you'd be able to play competitively, not on this little thing, but competitively anywhere if you had an internet service.
That's crazy.
The patent shows that the device would have the technology to play PlayStation 4 games. Easy. It would have the ability to easily, smoothly run all PlayStation 4 games built into it.
Dang. I want one. What the heck?
Yeah. So
I'm not gonna have Noah being like, "You got games on your phone."
The argument, though, is that if they make this successful, they have 5G, and you can play all of Sony's games, right? I'm talking Warzone, PlayStation 4. I'm talking Warzone on that thing. Besides the character base, right? Mario, all that. Is Nintendo offering anything different anymore, right? Sony's just stepping on
that. That is literally picking the Switch up by its throat, sliding it up the wall, and just manhandling it. That's what that is.
I don't think Nintendo's gonna die. I think Mario and those guys have such a fan base that that's a hard battle to fight.
Oh yeah, you'll never get rid of that. That's Mario and games like that, for me, Spyro and like
those
Crash and things like that. It's a sentimental thing because that's tied to your childhood.
But
that's what they don't have.
But here's the thing. Here's where I think Nintendo does have the possibility of dying in 10 years. You just said it. It's tied to your childhood. Is it tied to Noah's childhood?
Yes, because he's my son and I've forced him to play Super Mario Brothers. And
yeah, that makes sense.
like
my kids too. Like my kid plays Sonic and stuff. But like,
yeah.
Well, Sonic's not a Nintendo game, but you get where I'm going with that though? Is that going to be the next generation's thing? Or is Fortnite going to be the thing? Yeah. And if that's the case, what does Nintendo as a company hold 10, 15 years from now anymore? Because competitive gamers,
good point.
Switch is great. I mean, the Switch is great. I have a Switch in my youth group. It's great. But when you think gamers now, you don't think that. For the most part. I mean, Animal Crossing and all that's great, but for the most part, you don't think that device anymore. I don't know.
I've been thinking about getting rid of Noah's Switch. I got him one for his birthday last year, and he evidently takes from me. He's a ragey gamer.
Oh my gosh, it's genetic. The rage is genetic.
He took off like the blue controller thing.
Yeah.
Like he'll take them both off sometimes and just like set it up and like play with it like on the little controller thing that it comes with. But he slid that blue one off and something happened. I don't know. Kirby died. He plays Kirby a lot.
Yeah.
He was mad. He threw that thing and it's broken now. So then like he comes to me and he's like, with his big brown eyes, he's like, "Will you please forgive me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I forgive you, but you ain't getting another one."
Dang.
Yeah, maybe I don't know.
You heard it here first, folks. The rage is genetic.
Yeah. I'll catch myself. I'm like, listen, I'm gonna take that. Like, if you can't behave properly, I'm gonna take it away. And then I'm like, didn't I just punch my monitor?
I have people that come to my stream, and then I'll be doing something or whatever, and then they'll be like, "We need more rage today, Steven. Is Rosa playing?" You are known as like you've gone through a couple things in my stream, but to like the new people in my stream, you're not they don't know the past. They know you as Rage Rosa. Rage Rosa. There's somebody from my stream that goes over to yours, Thomas, Big Tom, and he always says that like rage.
That's funny.
Rosa's rage today. That's what you're known as. So don't lose it. That's what you're known as.
There's been a few like one person that's been coming by pretty frequently lately. I actually did the whole like close my eyes and find somebody to raid.
Yeah.
And I raided him one night, and he's been coming back to my streams and things like that, and he's really cool. His name's Thunder.
Yeah.
He actually has like his own emote that's like it's of like a rainbow, and at the top it just says rage. And then there was one day that like I don't know what happened, but I was raging.
Yeah.
And the entire chat was just full of Rosa and then his emote. Rage. Rosa, rage.
That's funny.
Rosa, rage. And I thought that was so funny.
You know what I've been doing now? So if you guys are confused what we're talking about, a raid on Twitch is the ability to send your viewers to support a smaller creator typically. You press a button and you send everybody there once you leave.
Yeah. It can be anybody. It doesn't necessarily have to be smaller than you or bigger. Like you can be bigger than you, whatever.
Anybody,
but it's just a way of like showing support, like sharing your community with other people. And who knows, your community members might be like, I kind of like this guy. And then guess what?
You know what I do now? I started adding stakes to like everything I do, like gambles, everything. And so I end my stream a little bit earlier than I typically would. And then I pull up my desktop live on my stream, and my chat knows we don't go to that person's channel. I go to somebody's channel. I follow them first. And I make sure they interact with me and they admit to follow. Then my chat just starts saying what they want. Ask them this question. Ask them that question. And then there's a live poll running in my chat. Should we raid this person? Yes or no?
That's pretty cool.
And then chat decides. And then they don't play. They will sit there and be like, nope. They're too focused on the game. They're not responding. Nope. Like they will not play until we find somebody that they like.
That actually makes me sad when that's happened to me before. Like,
yes.
I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got quite a few people in here. I want to send you guys to like somebody like make their day or something, and I'll find somebody and I'll like, I do what you said. Like I'll pull it up first and I'll follow them, like make sure that they usually now. Before I didn't, I would just be like, okay, let's go. This person, and then I send all my people there, And they're in there like showing them so much love and like being so nice to them, and they're not even looking at chat.
They have no idea.
They have no idea.
Do you want to hear the best thing? I rated this kid. My stream picked it. I rated him in, and then he didn't even realize that we rated, but he was like, wow, all these people in my chat. It's probably his first time getting rated. Then he starts calling the raid something else. He's like, oh, I think Pastor Steven did like a shadow raid, or he's making up a different term for it. Then somebody in my chat goes, do you have a TikTok? Like, or do you like, because he's a Christian, do you do any like preaching on TikTok? This man says in his stream to all my viewers, no, I don't like TikTok. I think people that preach on TikTok are just like not good. My whole chat just, so then of course I'm adding into it. I'm like, yeah, those TikTok pastors are so stupid. Blah, blah. So he's replying back to me. He's like, yeah, I agree with you. They're like, I don't understand why people would do that. They're dumb. And he's telling me like what I do.
That's funny.
Moral of the story, so if Rosa or Steven give you a raid, if you're watching our podcast, be grateful and be appreciative, and to the community.
Talk to my people.
Talk to them. Don't say that.
Those are my children.
TikTok's
like literally
stupid.
That's how I feel when I raid somebody. I'm like, here.
She has given birth to each of her followers.
I'm trusting you with these guys. Okay.
Here's a new
be
follow
nice
alert.
To them and love them, and if you're mean to them, then I'll report you to Twitch.
If you're a mod in Rosa's channel, I need you to listen to me right now. She's not going to want to do this, but you're doing this. When somebody drops a follow in Rosa's channel, here's what's going to happen. Okay? Here's what's going to happen.
You're so animated.
A bird is going to come up. Okay?
Oh, no.
The bird's going to say Rosa. Wait. The bird, or a wolf. Hear me out with the bird. The bird's going to say Rosa. All of a sudden, the bird's belly's going to grow. Then you're going to hear, Baka! And an egg is going to fall out of the bird with the name of the new follower.
Oh, my God.
Wait. And it's going to fall into a basket with other birds that will have the name of the chatters in the current chat. Thus, Rosa giving birth to a new member and making them part of the community.
Wow.
That's
very beautiful story.
I need money for this.
Can you make the noise again?
Paka! That's what's gonna happen as the egg drops out of Mama
beautiful.
Rosa.
That was beautiful.
Guys, if you're listening to this, that needs to be a thing in Rosa's channel.
That was very descriptive.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
That's really good. I think you should do it before your next stream. Have that live.
Okay.
Guys,
I don't like birds.
Well, a wolf would be worse because then, wolves don't lay eggs, and that'd be weird, coming out of there. So
that's true.
We appreciate you guys so much.
Thanks for being here.
Guys, we drop a new episode.
For our weird endeavors.
Every single Tuesday. They're not always as weird as this.
Y'all heard
I will not. Yeah, I will agree with that I'm definitely the weird one. But we drop new episodes every Wednesday. No, every Tuesday. Every Tuesday, not Wednesday.
Steven presses record.
And you can always catch up with us on our Twitch streams. Rosa XV on Twitch, Pastor Steven N on Twitch, and stay up to date with us on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Rosa, are you on YouTube yet? Next week.
What'd you say?
Next week you can keep up with her on YouTube as well. We love you guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna get on it. I'm gonna get on it.
Good. Next week, I'm expecting to be able to say, we'll see you guys on YouTube.
Guys, and don't forget, drop a comment,
Facts.
Leave a review. Please. It helps us out so much.
Yes, it
and
does.
You want to talk about the Patreon?
It'll be live by now, so maybe.
By now.
Bye. We should talk about that. Bye, guys.
See ya.
That was another episode of the Respawn Podcast. Don't cry. You can stay in touch with Rosa and Pastor Steven on their live streams right on Twitch. Don't forget to follow them on social media to stay in touch. We'll see you on the next episode.